announcements. I have a few announcements. Our announcement said that we will be reading the redemptive history books, and we've discussed this during the meeting of the pastors. And actually, you can also finish one book in one day, but founding pastor said that we must read and find all the verses that are in the book. And those who read that way in your districts or in the departments, if you tell your leaders, this will go and you can receive the prizes at the end of the year. The Pyungkang family Christmas celebration that we've had, it's past already, but I want to mention this because a lot of people felt this way, but it was actually the first Christmas celebration that we've had after the separation from the breakaway side. And there were concerns about the event being held under difficult conditions with many empty seats and difficult conditions and limited time. But it was actually an event that showed us, and an event of grace, that we can do anything when our hearts are united. And I am mentioning this here because when I made the final comment at the time, I couldn't tell you at the time. So I would like to speak about this now. Every program was one where our saints were united in our hearts. But when I look back, something that showed us, the two departments that showed us that we can do anything when we put our hearts into it and unite our hearts, is the infant ministry and the high school ministry. And especially the infant ministry, they've prepared this for a long time with the parents, and we sincerely thank you. And the high school ministry, as you've seen, it's a time where the seniors always do this. But with the breakaway side gone, there were not many seniors, and the sophomores and juniors, even though it was their test exam period, they made time, and the church officers of the ministry called everyone, and they made time together during their exam period. And I really wanted to mention this. And at this time, I would like to take this time to express my gratitude to all those who prepared for the Pyungkang family Christmas celebration. And what I wanted to address during this announcement is the indirect enforcement of the provisional injunction regarding the court's restraining order that the breakaway side has filed. I mentioned this during the Lord's Day worship service, and the breakaway side has filed a new indirect enforcement of the provisional injunction, and I received a new document yesterday because they filed it not at the church, but as an individual under my name. And I'm not saying this because I'm the one that received it, but because we need to know the reality of the situation. They filed this on December 18th, and this was not for the church, but an individual. And they asked that I have to pay that I have to pay 10 million won to each individual every day this is not carried out. I would like to mention two things. The decision came out on the 11th, November 28th. And the breakaway side claims that we have ignored the court's ruling and installed extra gates. We have actually installed the gate on September 8th because of the main gate construction. And afterwards, there were people who were staring toward the hill up on the side, and we made a new fence there on September 25th. But they said that we installed those fences after the court decision on November 28th, and I was very surprised. And on December 6th and the 7th, during the protests of the breakaway side, the fence, there were some damage, and we had to fix the fence, and they took some pictures. We just added one more thing, but they made it sound as if we were ignoring the court's ruling. And this is not logical and does not make sense. And during the announcement time, they claimed that I always make the announcement to close the church gates, and I have never said that. I have repeatedly said that we respect the court's ruling. Even though we respect it, we allow the 727 creditors to come in, but we do not allow third parties from entering. And we ask that they write a pledge to prevent conflict in the church. And these are the two things that we requested. And we've sent this notification via text. And last week, there were 3 people who said they would write this pledge through their district ministers. But these were people who did not intend to come in. And they gave this excuse and that excuse, and they did not come in. But they say that we are ignoring the church's ruling, the court's ruling, and we have never done so. The court and the judge, we hope that they will make a fair judgment and understand that we must take preventative measures, and we are taking such action. And with the terror of our Father, we know and believe that we will be victorious. It's just that the things that are happening now, they are lying. And even the things that they must submit to the court, they are submitting lies. And this is the reality. And what does this tell us? We must not be afraid or be urgent or in a hurry. They are writing anything to make it advantageous for them and favorable for them. So please pray for the situation, and so that there will be a work of victory like gifts for us next year. And may we keep our places of worship and put in our strength for prayer. And one more thing, There is an evangelist that worked hard for our church who retired in 2015. Evangelist missionary Lee Young-suk was called by God today. She was in her 20s, and that was during a time where there were not many young people. She supported our founding pastor for her entire life, and today she was called by God. And the funeral will be at Bucheon, and the homegoing service will begin after. The deathbed worship is after today's worship service, and tomorrow at 4 p.m., the viewing worship will take place. And the homegoing worship will be at 8 a.m. on the 29th. And not only the missionary, but the entire family has worked very hard for the work of redemptive history. And her nephew, Evangelist Kong Seok-jin, is preparing to become a pastor. And we actually haven't been able to go see her when she was ill. So our hearts are heavy now that she went to heaven. But please pray and please visit to comfort them if you can, so that the family can gain hope during difficult times. And we believe that this will be a great opportunity for them. And please comfort them and pray for them. Thank you.